Hi there, I'm Renee Fuentes and welcome back to my channel, Thai Caliente, where I show you how to make your favorite Thai and Mexican recipes. Today I'm sharing a Mexican recipe for albondigas, which translates to meatballs. So it is a meatball soup and I'm gonna be using chicken as my meat, but you can use ground turkey or even ground beef. So traditionally, you'll find albondigas, they'll kind of be like some chopped veggies within the broth. My mother-in-law makes them with the veggies shredded and she combines it into the meat mixture. So the meatballs have a ton of flavor. So the meatballs are really the only time-consuming part. The broth is pretty simple. And once you already have the meatballs made, the soup comes together in no time. It's perfect for the cooler months. And you can make the meat mixture ahead of time and keep it in the fridge. It's actually easier that way, so you can roll them without the meat being too sticky. So let me show you guys how to make this. I am making my albondigas with ground chicken, but you could use ground turkey for another lean option or the traditional ground beef. I also have 1 cup of cooked white rice. You could also do brown rice. And then I have my, so these are carrots that were already shredded. Normally I just do a whole carrot and shred it. And then I have 1 zucchini that I'm also going to shred, an egg to bind it all together. And here for my spices, I have some chili powder, onion powder, salt, as well as garlic powder. So the sauce or broth for the albondigas, it's same as the fideo. You're just gonna blend 2 Roma tomatoes, and then I just have about half of a small onion and then 2 whole cloves of garlic. And then you'll also either need some chicken bouillon or some broth. So I'm gonna go ahead and dice up the zucchini into my food chopper just until it kind of gets nice and finely shredded. You can also use a mandolin as well. And then since these carrots are still kind of big, I should have taken them out first, the zucchini out first, and then shred the carrots. Probably would have shredded a little bit easier. But this is kind of the mixture that I'm going for because, as I mentioned, my daughter's kind of picky. But now I'm going to squeeze out all of that extra water. So if you want your vegetables to have a chunkier texture, then you can just use like a cheese grater, or not chopping up as fine. But this actually worked pretty well. So that's just the zucchini and the carrots. I'm gonna empty it into a bowl and I'm going to add 1 pound of ground meat, all of my seasoning and spices, as well as a little bit of black pepper. And then I'm adding 1 cup of cooked rice, sorry, actually half a cup of cooked rice, crack an egg, and then I'm just going to mix this with my hand just until it's incorporated. So you don't want to over mix it too much because then the meatballs get a little bit too dense. So that is perfect. And then I'm going to store it in the fridge just to firm up. So for the broth, I'm just adding a 1/4 cup of water, my half tomatoes, my onions, and my whole garlic, and then I'm just going to give that a good blend. So this is the exact same sauce that I make when I'm doing fideo. So that looks good. And now I'm just getting an ice cream scoop so I can kind of make uniform meatballs, but you just kind of want to shape them lightly with your hand. And this amount made 18 meatballs. So I believe this is about a tablespoon and a half, if you want to get pretty accurate. So once all your meatballs are formed, we can go ahead and make the soup. So I'm adding a little bit of oil over medium heat, and then I'm going to cook the blended tomato sauce that we just did, just so it kind of develops some flavor. Not too long, just about 2 minutes. And then I'm using some chicken bouillon, but you could either use chicken broth, vegetable broth if you have that, and then I'm just adding water to use as the broth since I'm using the bouillon. So once it brings up to a rapid boil, that's when you're gonna put the meatballs in carefully. You don't want to burn yourself, but you want to make sure that it's boiling so that way the meatballs can kind of get started cooking right away. So put the lid on and let that simmer for a few minutes, and once the meatballs rise to the top, they are done. So you want to taste your broth and make sure the seasoning is good. If you need to add a little bit more salt, go ahead and do so. We like to serve our albondigas with a squeeze of lime and some cilantro. You can also eat it with some rolled up corn tortillas or a little bit of extra rice in the bowl. But this is just so good and so comforting. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Be sure to leave me any comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.